Moving on to Ethereum, ETH against USD. So if you look at Ethereum, right, we have already taken out all of these highs. Right, we were anticipating the right shoulder to come in, but it did not come in. So I suspect for Ethereum there is a price to pay. What is the price to pay? The price is we don't break out this high. We're gonna retrace first, right? Retrace where? Retrace under this low here. Again, this is just pure guessing, right? Pure guessing, no guarantees, just pure guessing. If we had to count the waves, right, this whole thing is a 1, down for a 2. I'm not too sure if this is a 3. I suspect this could only be a wave 3. I think we're gonna come back down for a 4, and after that we break this for a 5. I suspect this is what's happening. Could this be a wave 4? Sure, but I don't think so. I think more likely than not, we're still going to retrace. Could Ethereum just, zip out and take out these highs? Sure, of course. But I don't think so. I think we're going to be retracing from 4,003 down to potentially 3,000, sub 3,003, right? I think we're going to clear this cell cluster first before going any higher. That's my guess. So, okay, let me give you an example, right? When Ethereum was rising over here, okay, let's say because, again, right, hindsight is 2020. So, okay, over here, right, we started seeing higher highs. Higher high, higher high, higher high, right? Something like a rising channel. Rising channels usually break lower. So if I were to be the whale for Ethereum, right, I would very likely want to clear all these cell clusters. Because very likely you're going to have stop losses over here. And people who want to open short for Ethereum, they'll probably have orders over here that will be triggered once the price passes here. So what happened? What happened after this? Yeah, so what the whale did was it dropped the price lower, clear all of this before pushing it higher. So I suspect the same thing is going to happen here. Again, pure guessing. I could be wrong for sure. But I think we're going to come back down to take out these lows at about 3,000, sub 3,003, right? So yeah, and when we drop over here, we drop to sub 2,003, right? I mean, precisely, it was like 2011, right? So I'm going to assume the same thing is going to happen here for Ethereum. Could I be wrong first? I think a reversal is not too far away for Ethereum, right? For a retrace. Could this retrace be a much bigger retrace? Sure, of course. Best bullish case scenario is for Ethereum to consolidate over here. Let's say we get a wave 2, right? 1, 2, and then we truly break for a 3, 4, and then 5. Going up towards 10,000 for Ethereum, right? So I don't really mind if it's several months long or even if it's consolidating way into next year. I really don't mind because I think that Ethereum eventually will still go to 10,000. This entire structure is built for 10,000. That we have targets actually pointing towards 10,000. So I still think that Ethereum is going to head towards 10,000. It's just that on the way up, there's going to be a lot of zigzags. But do remember that if Ethereum really does drop, even if, let's say, for example, we drop past this low, down to this noisy area here, to let's say 2005, I think this is a gift for a ride towards 10,000, in my humble opinion. Of course, I could be wrong. We could be blasting off from here. But any dip that comes for Ethereum, in my opinion, is a long. For me, personally, I think that's a long. So, yeah, because if you look at ETH BTC is still solid, right? The trend is your friend. The trend is up. So if you look at it on a weekly, this is how Ethereum looks like. We're squeezing this whole thing. It's potentially a gigantic A, B, C, D. Right, there is a noisy area over here. We are hitting resistance. You see that? So again, my take is okay, we're probably gonna hit the skinny pink line eventually, or FBDC. So there's still some ways to go. Between Ethereum and Bitcoin, I still think Ethereum is the solid choice. So yeah, again, I have no doubts that Ethereum is eventually gonna head to 10K.